From fabulous Las Vegas, PartyPoker.net presents Powerful Poker Profits, starring Vegas Vic himself, Victor H. Royer. And now, here's Vegas Vic.
Hello and welcome to our show. We are about to introduce you to the great game of Omaha High-Low Split 8 or better, often called simply Omaha 8. This program is intended to cover the very basics for players who have never played Omaha 8. So if you already know how to play, we have more shows in this series on advanced strategies and concepts. But for those of you who are new to Omaha 8, this is the perfect place to be. And now, let's go to the table. Because there are some similarities between Omaha High and Omaha High-Low Split, players who are new to the High-Low Split game often believe that the games are sufficiently similar for their playing principles to also be identical. While it is true that there are similarities, it is not true that these games are identical. On the contrary, Omaha High-Low Split, mostly known simply as Omaha 8, requires an entirely different approach and expertise. The most common mistakes that many players make is to think that just because you can win with either the high side of the pot or the low side, this means that you can play more hands because it appears you have more opportunities to win. This is actually not the case. The truth is that winning one side of the pot can sometimes be more costly than not playing the pot at all. For example, it is not uncommon for several players to have the same low hand. If that is the case, and you split that side of the pot with just one player, that means that 50% of your winnings are now going to somebody else. So first, you only won 50% of the pot, the low side, because somebody else won the high, and now you are losing another 50% of the pot that you did win to somebody else, and therefore you have only won 25% of the pot. This gets even worse if there are 3 players or more who also share in that side of the pot. The effect of this is that sometimes you can invest more money into the pot than you win. It is for this reason that chasing pots in Omaha 8, particularly if it appears that you can win only one side of the pot, is unwise. Situations like this mostly happen at the low side of the pot, because in Omaha 8, most players will play starting hands whose values are such that they can make strong low hands, but can also make high hands. For example, let's say that your starting hand consists of ace, 2, 3, 5, with the ace and the 5 being suited. In this case, let's say diamonds. A hand such as this is among the top starting hands for Omaha 8. You can very easily make the nut low, which would be the wheel, consisting of ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, using 2 of your whole cards with the other cards on the board. Since you have several cards that can match such cards on the board, you have what is called a redraw, meaning that you have many more possibilities even to higher straights. Additionally, because you also have the ace-5 suited, you have the possibility of making not only the nut flush, but even a straight flush. Therefore, a hand such as this gives you a multitude of possibilities to make not only the best low hand, but also a very good high hand. For this reason, hands such as this are prized in Omaha 8 because any combination of the best low hand along with the best high hand will win both sides of the pot. And winning both sides of the pot is absolutely the objective of playing this game. Naturally, there will be situations and occasions where you will not have hands such as this, but you may have all high cards. For example, you may have a hand like ace-ace, king-queen, with the ace-king and ace-queen suited. Such double-suited hands are great for the high-only Omaha and also playable for the high side of the pot in Omaha 8. Of course, these hands cannot make a low, and therefore anytime you have hands similar to this, you are most definitely playing for only one side of the pot. The good news is that whenever you have hands of this kind, it is quite likely that you will have the only winning hand for the high side of the pot. What this means is that you can very often exploit the low draws by raising the pot and forcing them to pay more for drawing to their half of the pot, and this therefore increases the pot odds value for your side of the pot. These are some of the more advanced concepts in playing Omaha 8, particularly in the pot limit game. We will discuss more of this in our program on Advanced Strategies for Omaha 8. For now, the best advice as you begin to learn this game is to always begin with cards that contain at least one ace, and preferably cards that contain potential redraws, suited combinations, and other strong potentials for scooping both sides of the pot. In our example, hands such as Ace-2, 3-Ace, and Ace-2, 3-5, and Ace-2, 3-4 are all very good starting hands, particularly when the ace is suited to one of the other cards. Additionally, you can also play hands that contain at least Ace-2 along with two other big cards. As you can see from our example, all these hands are even better if they are double suited. In order to illustrate exactly how powerful hands such as these are, just remember that whenever you begin with a hand containing an Ace-2 and two other big cards, and on the flop there are at least two other low cards, you will actually complete and make a successful low hand about 60% of the time. This is quite an eye-opener for many players, particularly those who have first learned to play Texas Hold'em or Omaha High only. It is a very important point for you to remember, especially when you are new to Omaha 8. Now that you have an idea about how the game is played, we are going to show you some of the best hands for Omaha 8. Our examples are divided into three categories, beginning with those that we consider to be great hands, and then those that we consider to be good hands, and finally those that are reasonably playable. Amongst those which we consider to be great starting hands for Omaha 8 are these. All are excellent starting hands for Omaha 8. Even hands such as Ace-2-3 and any other card, such as in our example with one of our cards designating a blank, are very playable in this game. The cards you see now are also considered very good hands for Omaha 8 and should be amongst your choices as your best starting hands. And finally, the hands you are seeing are reasonably playable for Omaha 8. However, they should be played cautiously. If you carefully observe the texture of each flop as well as the actions of your opponents, most of the time you can quickly figure out if they continue to be playable or not. Consequently, the most valuable advice for anyone learning to play Omaha 8 is to begin with stringent and tight starting hand requirements and preferably play only hands that can win both high and low. If this is all you remember about Omaha 8, then you will be a long way ahead of many players in this game, particularly in the low and middle structured limits. Although Omaha 8 is a game that can, at first, look complicated, it can quickly become the exact opposite. While it is true that you can win the high or the low side of the pot, or scoop them both, this does not mean that the game is too difficult to learn or play. Soon, the small range of playable hands will begin to look like faces of old friends and therefore easily recognizable. As you gain more and more experience, it will become even easier to make your choices and selections and play them equally as well. And now, until next time, remember to play smart and play to win. I'm Victor H. Royer, and this has been a presentation of PartyPoker.net. Bye!
This has been a presentation of MRM Entertainment, Inc. in association with Nevada Production Studios and PartyPoker.net.